Bruchim Habayim. Thank you for coming, everyone. B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh V'Natzliach. Thank you. And we are in the Sefer Olam Hamidot. We're in the last chapter, the 8th chapter that deals with Olam HaChesed, which we pretty much said it encompasses everything. Like, you need all the tools you can in order to master Chesed. Okay. So the Rambam writes in Halachot Deot Perik Vav, the Halachot Deot, as we know, is in the first segment of the Mishneh Torah of the Rambam, in which he deals with the different behavior of a person and halachot of a lot of very, very interesting, very basic and fundamental things that the Rambam brings down. So he writes, mitzvah al kol adam le'ehov el kol echad ve'echad miYisrael. Is a mitzvah on every person to love every one of Jewish people kegufo, like his own self. Right? And how do we know that? Because it says in the Torah, ve'ahavta le're'acha kamocha. Right? You shall love your re'ah, that means your friend, like yourself. Then he says, lefikach, very interesting Rambam. He says, therefore, a person has to be mesaper b'shivcho, telling over the other person's praise. And then he says, velachus al mamono, and to have pity, to have, to be good to his wealth, to his money, just like he is careful with his own money, right? And he would want his own honor and respect, so too, that's what he should have for the other person. Then he writes, v'hamitkaped biklon chavero, one who gains honor at the expense of the other person's downfall, ein lo chelek le'olam haba, he does not have a portion in the world to come. That's what the Rambam writes over there in Halachot Deot. In his Sefer HaMitzvot is where he counts the mitzvot. That one was written in Arabic, and it was later translated from Arabic. So in Sefer HaMitzvot, he continues. He brings down. This is in Mitzvat Aser Resh Vav 206. He says Hashem commanded us, shetzivanu le'ehov, right? Ketzatenu et ketzatenu, right? That means we should love each other, Jews. Kemoshe nohav atzmenu, just like we love ourselves. And my mercy and my love should be to my brother, like my mercy and my love to me, to his wealth, to his self, to the other person's self, and whatever he owns, if he wants it. Listen, I don't have to show love to his things if he doesn't want me to, but if he likes it. And whatever I want for myself, I should want for him as well. And whatever I hate for myself, right, or whoever is around me, I should hate for him as well. And that is what Hashem said, That's the end of quote from Sefer HaMitzvot of the Rambam. So he says, Rav Kestenbaum says, this is very, very hard to understand. How is it possible that a person could come to such level that the Torah is obligating him to love each person like himself? It's a very hard thing to understand. He says, the issue is that we don't understand what love means, right? What does it mean when we say true love? He says, so let's focus on that. He says, most people think that loving the other person is measured by how much you admire the other person, right? That's how they measure it. And that's why we have a hard time understanding how is it possible that I should love someone just like myself. The truth is, true. Even if you admire someone, you could come to love the other person, but that's not how you measure it, right? Look, There's a lot of great tzaddikim. We admire them. Wow, they're so wise. They're so awesome. They're so amazing. They're very important. Do we love them? Do we have our hearts filled with love towards them? No. And the opposite. There are people that they're not admirable, but we love them. So that's not how you could measure it. So he says that when a person pays attention, he will figure out and see that when we're talking about ahava, when we're talking about love, it's measured by how much a person has mercy on the other person. That's what it is. How much mercy he has on the other person in his heart. The truth is, many, many, many places in the Torah, in Nevi'im, when you have the word ve'ahavta or ahava, the Targum in Aramaic translates it as rachem, right? It's interesting. How do we even refer to Hashem in Aramaic? Rachamana, right? The one that has mercy, Rachamana, right? The merciful one, basically, and he's the one, and he who loves us more, right? But it's interesting that the Targum Unklos for Ve'ahavta is Rachem, right? So it has to do with Rachamim, it has to do with having mercy. The fact that a person loves the other person, it all is measured by how much mercy he has towards him. And the intention is not that we should have mercy, or chas v'shalom, something sad happened to him, so on and so forth. Oh, pity, I feel so bad. Syrians say chazit, or in Yiddish they say nebech, no. That's not what we're talking about, right? It says, it means to worry about the other person, to have kindness towards the other person, to have pity towards him, and paying attention to what he needs. That shows the degree of love that one would have to the other person. Yes?
Would you say that it's synonymous with having empathy?
We'll get to that. That's later. We're going to get to the empathy part. Yes, noseh ba'olim chavero. That's part of this. It does have to do with it. He says, the greater the person is, the more mercy and kindness he has to the other person. That shows a person's greatness, right? He would have as much mercy on the other person as he would have on himself, right? Just like a person has mercy on himself, has pity on himself, wants to be kind to himself, he wants to get everything, all the good, all the berachot, all the things. He doesn't want to be in pain, doesn't want to be bothered, doesn't want to feel pressure, right? The same things, attributes, would be on a great person. He would have the same feelings towards the other. He would place all of that for the other person. The word chesed is connected to chas. Chas means pity. You see that? So part of chesed is to be chas, to have pity on the other person. That's how it works. Person comes and says, listen, man, I don't like myself. I don't like myself. What do you want? You tell me about after that, I love the other person. I don't love myself. So I should hate everyone else. I do hate everyone. What do you want? I'm a Rasha. That's what he says. He says, look, he has all the right to think whatever he wants to think. Chas v'shalom, that he's a Rasha, right? And he could think that other people are better than him. But it's an utter mistake, total mistake, to think that he doesn't love himself. That's not true. That's not true, right? All his life, what is he doing then? He's trying to take care of himself. He's being kind to himself, taking care of his own needs, right? He doesn't take care of anybody else's needs, but he's very kind to himself. He's always making sure that he gets whatever is good for himself. And if he has pain, right, he'll be very sad. Why are you sad? You said you don't like yourself, right? And the fact that he's in such a state of anguish, right? And he's he's giving up on life, and he thinks that he's worse than everyone else. that also comes from the fact that he wants to be kind to himself. That itself is self-pity. That's what it is, right? Because the truth is, he doesn't get sad when he sees other people are not being successful. But he would be sad if he sees he himself is not successful, right? Because a person naturally, instinctively, loves himself, right? He wants to take care of his own needs. And that's what the Torah says. Take that and apply it to the others. That's what the Torah is commanding. By nature, we all have that. We are all, like, in that state. Hashem says, Ve'ahavta le're'acha kamocha. Just like you have pity and kindness and all that for yourself, have that on the other first. He says, you clearly see that when it comes to your children, right? Because that's the greatest love. I'm going to tell you something very interesting. Gemara in Sanhedrin. First of all, there's a law in the Torah. Haba b'machteret. You know what this is? Haba b'machteret is a thief. Literally, it means he dug a tunnel under a person's house to go steal. Right? Machteret, even nowadays, the underground is called the machteret. Back in before the state of Israel, you had people in the machteret, right? These are the underground, Anyway, so Habab Machteret, the Torah says, one who comes in Machteret, and it says, V'zarcha alav hashemesh, and the sun beat on him, and the owner of the house kills the thief, he is not liable for it. The owner. Oh, very good. We'll get to that. But what does that mean? The Gemara says, because it's clear, this thief, he's doing all this because if you're a thief, just go break in through the window and jump in and steal. But no, this guy is really working very hard to dig a tunnel and go in. He's willing. He knows that the owner, the landlord, this person, is not going to just stand there and say, "Oh, bechavod, come, take whatever you want." He's going to stand there. And what's he going to do? He's going to fight him. He is willing to kill him. If he's willing to kill him, he has a din of Herodef. He could kill him. Right? Unless Zarcha alav hashemesh. Unless it's clear as daylight, so to speak, that he won't kill him. Okay? When it's clear that the thief won't kill the landlord, and the landlord kills him, then damim lo, the Torah says. Then that is considered as he shed blood, and he is considered a murderer. The Gemara says, what's the case? Father. A father breaks into his own son's home. The father would never kill his own son. That's clear as sun. He wouldn't, son, get it. That's clear as daylight that he won't kill his own son. Right? And therefore, if the son kills him, that's considered retzicha. That's considered murder. The Gemara is not so sure if the table was turned. Right? That means the son is breaking into his father's home. He might kill him. He doesn't have that much mercy. The father has the most mercy in the world on his own son. He would never kill him. That's shemesh. That's clear. Right? So you see that? That's like the most compassion that a person could have. Like, the most pity. Unfortunately, that's where the Torah is showing us this. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, it is known that the love of the father on his child is greater than the love of the child on his father. You know the whole story there, right? You know the whole... there's a lot of different stories in Midrashim that depict this. Now... Right? That's right. That's what Avshalom did, whoa, you go through the story of Avshalom deep, no one could ever imagine the love of the father and how much he prayed for him in the end, and he brought him out of Gehinnom. He says, Beni, 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 so many times. He elevated him, step after step from Gehinnom. But okay, now, what's the reason? The reason is ahava, love, is how much mercy, how much pity, how much kindness, how much compassion you have towards the other person. That's how you measure it, right? And there is no rahmanut between people like the rahmanut and mercy of the father and his child. He says the truth is, all love when it comes to it, you plug this in. That's how it has to translate, right? The only time that there is a true ahava is when it's filled with rahmanut, right? Just like a father to the son. That means between spouses in a couple. That's how it should be. That ahava that we're talking about, right? It's not how many favors you do to the other person. Oh yeah, they're so in love. Look how much gifts they buy each other. No, that's not how it is. It's how much each person is dedicated to the other person, is worried about the other person, right? Famous thing everyone knows, right? A person doesn't like fish, right? Look, he's eating the fish, right? So that, what does that mean? He likes himself, right? That's why he is eating the fish. And according to this understanding, like, famous mashal, like, if the ahava is dependent on what one spouse gains from the other spouse, then the person doesn't love their spouse, they love themselves, right? And that's what Chazal say in the Pirkei Avot. Kol ahava teluya bedavar, any love which is dependent on something. So when that something goes away, the love goes away, right? But when it's not dependent on anything, right? When it's not dependent on any outside thing, it's really all about caring, right? That ahava will never be batel. It will never ever go away. And the Mishnah goes on and gives an example. Which is an ahava which is dependent on something? That's the love of Amnon and Tamar. As we know, the whole story there. Amnon, he only loved Tamar because she was very, very beautiful, right? And then when he did what he did, it says in the Navi that he hated her, right? He tells his servant, come, get this out of here because kisenetiha, I hate her. Like, hello, what happened? You got sick because you were in love, madly in love. Obviously, it was teluya bedavar. It was dependent on something. And the Mishnah says, what is the example of a love that is not dependent on anything? This is David and Yonatan. What was the story of David and Yonatan? If anything, they should have hated each other. Hate. Why? Because David would be the biggest threat for the throne, for Yonatan. And he was. And he did take over. But that love, why? Because if you read in Navi, you'll see they made a pact with each other that they'll take care of each other's descendants and children and children's children. Like, that's how much the love again means, that kindness, that pity, that feeling of, like, for the other person. That's what it means. He says this is the difference between chesed of goyim, right, and the chesed of Israel. They always talk about, oh, how nice it is to be kind to one another. Like, kindness is this, kindness is this. But when you read in the books, psychology books, the whole idea of being kind to other people, right, is so that other people will be kind to you, right? Respect your elders because you're going to be old one day and you want other people to also respect you, right? It's like, it's always about that. It's always like, there is something there waiting for you, right? But that's not true chesed. That's not true chesed. Chesed means to have kindness to the other person, to have pity on the other person, for the other person, not for yourself, not to satisfy yourself, not to make yourself feel good. At the end of the day, you're going to go to sleep and say, oh, I did good today.
But I do.
That's fine. That's a bonus. That's a bonus. But your intention has to be, you know what? I care about the other person. I care about the other person. I want the other person to be good, to be healthy, to have everything that the other person needs. That's chesed. It's not about being satisfied and being happy about myself. Oh, I could sleep well tonight because I did a good act. No, that's not it. That's what Chazal said. Pasuk. Gemara quotes this pasuk also from Mishlei. Tzedakah teromem goy. Tzedakah, right? Tzedakah elevates a nation, a goy, right? The chesed leumim and the kindness of leumim of the nations is chatat, is a sin. Gemara says, tzedakah teromem goy. Tzedakah elevates a goy, right? That's Israel, right? Why are you calling Israel a goy? Shmuel Hanavi, in David HaMelech, what it says, "Umi ka'amacha Yisrael goy echad ba'aretz." Who is like your nation? One goy, one nation. They're all unified. How? Because they do tzedakah, right? Tzedakah taromem goy. And then chesed le'umim chatat, kol tzedakah v'chesed, all the tzedakah and the chesed that of the avodah zarah they do, it's a chet for them. It's a sin because they only do it to show off. They only do it to make themselves look good. Yes.
But isn't it better for them to do something rather than nothing? For them.
The truth is over there, Gemara. This is Gemara in Bava Batra. It's talking about halachot of tzedakah, and it says that what's the problem? The goy when he does something he's not doing it l'shem shamayim. He's doing it for other reasons, and when it doesn't happen, when he doesn't get rewarded, he says, God, chas v'shalom. He says things about Hashem, and that's how it's going to be a chatat. So with it, it's a whole almost page and a half of the Gemara deals with halachot of tzedakah, giving all these things, and then it goes should we accept tzedakah from them? Should we not accept tzedakah from them? Yeah, we could continue. So, basically, we just explained that when we're talking about ahava, love, it's measured how much a person has pity and kindness towards the other person. And that's why we have an obligation, we have a chiyuv, we have an obligation, right, that to have pity on everyone, right? That's what ahavta means to have pity. Like the Targum says, terachem. And when a person does that, this is the only way that a person could actually perform the mitzvah of after l'reacha kamocha. A little child, his whole concentration is on who? On himself. He's self-centered. A baby is all self-centered. A toddler is totally only looking at himself. If he wants something, he doesn't care about your feelings. Oh, I feel bad for my mother. I feel bad for my mother. No, are you kidding me? He'll scream his head off until he gets it. He'll do whatever. He'll step all over you until he gets it. Unfortunately, there are some people that remain like that all their life. Right? That's that inner child that they have. It remains like that, unfortunately. Right? The only thing that they're focused on is their own benefit. They don't care about anybody else's benefit, right? And unfortunately, this happens. These people grow, and this is the relationship they'll have with their spouse. This is the relationship that they have with their children, right? Because they only want to give if it's easy. They only want to give if they'll gain something from it. Right? It's a matana lehachzir. It's a gift. I'm giving it to you, so I'll get back. Right? So this is totally self-centered. They worship themselves. This is how they are. It's never about just doing good to someone else for that sake. Our avodah is that we need to try to focus on someone else's needs, right? And not on our own need. That's our avodah, right? By Berit Milah, they say, Zeh HaKatan Gadol Yeh. I'm sure you heard this. Like this child, this Katan, will be big. It means that this Katan should not remain a Katan. Should not remain that self-centered. It should become a Gadol. Gadol always means a giver. Gadol always in Chazal, when they say Gadol, Gadol is a giver. Right? One who takes care of, worries, and sees to other people's needs, that's a gadol. We're saying, Zeh HaKatan Gadol Yeh. Shouldn't remain a katan. Shouldn't remain a taker. Should become a giver. Right? A person has to come out of his own little tiny world of a katan and enter the world of a gadol, which is before him. Right? The truth is, every negative midah comes from being self-centered, right? Jealousy comes from being self-centered, right? Why? Because he feels, I should be better, I should have more, I should have this type of life. Why is he having this type of life? Anger comes because so-and-so didn't do what I wanted to do. Again, I'm at the center, right? So-and-so cursed me, so-and-so smacked me. It's me, right? The mitzvah v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha is exact opposite. That a person comes to realize that he is not in this world to take for himself. He is in this world only to do for the other. Right? Rabbi Yitzchak Volozhiner, he was the son of Rav Chaim Volozhin. Rav Chaim Volozhin was the founder of Volozhin Yeshiva, one of the greatest yeshivot that all the yeshivot nowadays are modeled after his yeshiva, Rav Chaim Volozhin. After him, after he passed away, his son, Rav Yitzchak Volozhiner, became the Rosh Yeshiva, followed by the Nitziv, right? Rav Naftali Tzvi Berlin, who was his son-in-law, and his grandson also at the same time. That's Rav Chaim, Rav Yosef Tov Soloveitch, right? So that's that's how the generations work. So Rav Yitzchak writes. He wrote the introduction to the monumental work Nefesh HaChaim. Nefesh HaChaim was Rav Chaim Volozhiner's monumental work, amazing book, and he wrote, "This is what my father would always say. A person was not created for himself. A person was created only to help others as much as it is possible for him to do. That's it. That's what he would. That's what he says. He says, and that's exactly what Rabbi Akiva said. Rabbi Akiva says, "V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha," right? Love the other person like yourself. Hu klal gadol b'Torah. This is a big rule of the Torah. What does that mean, big rule of the Torah? Because everything is included in this. All the midot tovot are in this. All the good midot that a person could have is included in that. Once a person realizes that he was not created, he was not placed in this world for himself, that causes a person to love Hashem. And one who loves Hashem is a person that all of his intentions are, what can I do to bring nachat before Hashem? Right? That's what it is. Because he realizes all of his existence here is to serve Hashem. People say, do I have to do this? Right, But the real question is, right, is this what Hashem wants me to do? That's the biggest question, right? And again, the fundamental is the person is not in this world to take from Hashem, but to give to Hashem. A person is not in this world to take from his friend, but to give his friend. Chachamim teach us, Kol Yisrael arevim ze lazeh. All of Am Yisrael are arevim. Arevim means they are connected, interconnected. And also it means they're guarantors for one another. That means they are so connected to each other that they are responsible for each other. Just like a person knows his responsibilities to his children, the same way he needs to know his responsibilities to those around him. Right? We have to have pity on our friends, to pay attention to what they need and to help them as much as we can. Chachamim tell us, Chavivim Yisrael, Am Yisrael are dear because they are called children of Hashem. More endearment is for them because Hashem even let them know that they are His children. Right? How do we know? Pasuk. Banim atem laHashem Elokechem. You are Hashem's children. That means Hashem is telling us. Hashem has mercy on us like a father has with his child. That's what Hashem is saying. And Orchot Tzadikim says, Hashem has mercy on us more than anyone ever would have mercy on anyone. That's what he writes. He says, if every Jew is a child of Hashem, so that means we're all brothers. Brothers, look out for each other. Right? That's the continuation of the pasuk. Banim atem laHashem Elokechem lo titgodedu. Lo titgodedu, that's talking about not to make cuts for themselves when they're in a state of mourning. Chazal make a derasha. Masachet Yevamot. Lo titgodedu means lo ta'asu agudot. Because you're still children of Hashem, don't become separate groups. Right? You're His children. You gotta treat each other with love and friendship without hatred and machloket. We should write this for ourselves. Yeah. Let's do a little bit of halachot. I know I went maybe a little. No, we didn't really go over time. We are starting the segment about what is asur to eat, what is mutar to eat. So number one, Are we allowed to eat human flesh?
No.
No, it's asur. The question is it the oraita? Is it the rabbana? Okay, we won't go into it. But halachically, a person is not allowed to swallow even skin of humans. So what? Who goes around biting people's skin off? We bite our own skin off. A lot of people bite their the flesh around the nails, right? And or sometimes their lips are dry. They go like this. You gotta be very careful. Don't swallow it. It's asur. Don't swallow that. It's human skin. It's human skin. Don't swallow it. Right? Be very careful. I know we started off saying ew, like, but hey, we do it all the time, especially in the winter. Like, a person gets dry and chapped, like, you're biting it, and sometimes it gets stuck between your teeth, you don't even realize. It does. What do you mean? And you got to make sure you got to get rid of it. It's asur. Besides that, the person should not be in this habit, because on Shabbat, what are you going to do? A person becomes addicted to doing this, and then on Shabbat, it's going to be totally asur. We learned this in Halachot when we're learning it. It's gozez. It's a huge problem. So that's number one. There's another thing that you should know, like, Mohalim these days, Baruch Hashem, are experts. As soon as they perform the Brit Milah, that little piece of skin that they right away, they flick it into this bottle with dirt in it, and they hide it. Why? Because some people think it's a segula to swallow it. They can have children, so they would steal it. Right? Right? Yeah. Of course. So he says, first of all, you have to let people know that it's asur. It's totally asur. This is like absolutely asur. Now, when it comes to nursing babies, a baby is allowed to nurse. Right, up to even 4 years old. And if a baby is extremely weak or sick, he could continue up to age 5. Right? However, if the baby stopped nursing for 3 days, that's 72 hours, then it depends. If this happened before the age 2, right, then the baby could go back, continue after that to nurse. But if this happened after the age 2 and he stopped again for 72 hours, then it's asur. Unless the baby is not well. And the doctor sees that the baby has to be done, otherwise it's asur. Now, an adult, obviously it's asur for him to nurse. However, if he's sick, or something, and he wants to drink it from a cup, that's allowed. Otherwise, it's of course it's asur. This is. A person, mother herself, that's not asur. We're talking about someone else. That's a Shulchan Aruch. This is like straight up Shulchan Aruch. Now, lehavdil elef havda avdalot, milk of non-kosher animals. Like, someone sent us a thing about donkey milk. Like, how healthy it is, how incredibly good. Okay, asur from the Torah to drink such thing, right? Because the halacha is hayotze min tameh, tameh. Whatever comes out of a tameh is tameh, right? Even a sick person can drink it, right? Unless the sick person is in sakana, is in a life-threatening danger, right? Then, but what about if a person who's not so sick, that sick, is sick, but he's not in danger? If they put something extremely bitter in this milk, right? Then that person could drink it, right?
Grandma was sick with cancer, my father, she couldn't give milk to my father. So they had to take milk because they didn't have no cows at that time.
Right.
They had to take milk from the donkey.
Really?
So my father had to drink donkey milk.
Wow.
And I'm talking about 1930.
How many years did he live?
57.
Oh. Because they say, it's very healthy. I don't know about that. Now, Chachamim say that it's asur to drink milk that a goy milked. Right? Chachamim say that it's asur to drink milk that a goy, cow milk, regular cow milk. And goy milked it, it's asur. If there was no Jew present watching him milk the cow, goat, sheep, whatever it is, like, kosher. Why is it asur? Because we're afraid that maybe he mixed in to this milk from a tameh animal. How do you know? Right? We don't know. Right? Now, if the goy, you walk into the goy's grocery store and he has Chalav Yisrael, pride of the milk there, sealed. He's selling it. Oh, no, this is sold by a goy. Obviously, you could. You go to Smart and Final, they have this Chalav Yisrael milk. The person could have it. That's of course, is mutar. Like, I'll tell you a story. In after a hard day's work at a show, right? So a bunch of these vendors, like, they were very tired, and they all gathered in this coffee shop, and they wanted to relax a little bit from the hard day's work. And the person comes over, he says, "What can I get for you, please?" They said, "Coffee." And he said, "Would you like milk in it?" He says, "Yes, of course, please." Except for one. One of the merchants says, "I would like my coffee black." Right? And a couple of minutes pass, like, as they're drinking their coffee with immense pleasure. So one of them turned to the other guy. He says, "Tell me, why are you drinking your coffee without milk? You didn't make enough money today?" So he says, "No, I'm afraid, maybe he will put non-kosher milk in my coffee." And Chazal told us, like, milk that's from a goy, you can't have. And they all started laughing at him. "Are you kidding me? You can't find non-kosher animals around here. They're all kosher, please." Like, and they were all laughing at him. So the guy who served them, they said, "You're not making sense, man." He kept quiet. He didn't say anything. Everything, like, so the guy, the waiter comes, he's like, "Hey, what are you guys laughing about?" They say, "Oh, we're just loving the milk that you the coffee that you brought for us." And he says, "Oh, tell me, by the way, how do you guys like the coffee?" And he says, "Whoa, it's great." He said, "Really? Tell me, is there something different about it?" And so they're like, "Why do you ask?" He says, "I'll tell you. Today I wanted to make my coffee special, right? So I added a little bit camel milk that I got yesterday, right? Very rare. It's hard to come by camel milk. I added a little bit to the regular milk. I wanted to see how it is. Wow, it tastes so good, right? It's very expensive. Camel milk is very expensive." And they're all like, "Oh my gosh, what happened? We had tameh milk, and they all turned to him and they asked him for forgiveness. "We all laughed at you, but you were the one that's right, because you're so careful in this halakha. Hashem guarded you." You know who this person became? This is none other than Rav Simcha Bunim of Fashischa. He was a businessman. He was a very wealthy businessman. And later he became the Rabbi Bunim, Rabbi Simcha Bunim of Fashischa. So this is very serious. Like, when Chazal say, "Hey, listen, don't you drink this," there's something to it. Okay.
What is all your day doing?
Well,